So who is our famous person? Well, no other than George Eastman of Eastman Kodak fame, who simplified photography with just one click. Or as George would have said, one click and we'll do the rest. And that's where I met up with Eliza and George to give me a tour of his residence. Eliza, am I right on time?
Punctual as always.
I have an absolutely beautiful house, don't I?
You do. It's spectacular.
Well, not really mine. What can you tell us about the house? As we're looking around, it's just filled with grandeur and beauty.
Well, and you really feel as though George Eastman still lives here.
Now tell me, I looked at the grand organ there, large, huge organ. What can you tell me about that?
So he had an original pipe organ, and this is the original pipe organ. In fact, the house is the size it is because it had to have the pipes on the second and third floor, and it's also what we call, it's surround sound. It's the largest residential organ in the world.
The dining room, beautiful as well.
Yeah, and the dining room, he entertained a lot of friends, but also a lot of people in the community. It was actually modeled after the White House during Teddy Roosevelt's time, so it has a very similar look to it.
Here you have the billiard room. You see all the ashtrays around there. Gorgeous original pool table.
It's not the original pool table, but he did have a pool table in there.
Eliza and I continued to talk, and then we headed into the conservatory, where you won't believe what Mr. Eastman did to his house.
George Eastman was told that the acoustics would be better in this room if the room was larger. So in order to do that, it meant he had to cut the house in half, move this part of the house 9 feet 4 inches north using railroad ties, and then fill it in.
Well, I'll tell you what, you can look up at the ceiling, and you can actually see where they moved it back because the panels don't
Exactly,
match.
yeah, we're standing right in the addition.
But the real treasure of this estate is the George Eastman Museum, which houses one of the largest collections of photography and cinema, as well as the technology that was used to capture it. But rather me explain it, I'll let Liza do the honors. After all, she's the expert. What room are we in?
This is our history of photography gallery. So at any time when visitors come to visit the museum, they can really get a context of the history of photography from the very beginnings in 1839 all the way to the present.
What would you say is your most prized collection as far as film?
We do have the entire Technicolor Archive. And so as people remember inglorious Technicolor, it's all here. So that includes not only the films, Wizard of Oz, Gone with the Wind, but we also have cameras that would have been on the lots for making Technicolor films as well.
The theater here, the Dryden Theater. Do I have the name correct?
You do, and it's a real treasure for us. And we also are rare in that we're one of only 3 theaters in the country that can show nitrate film. That's the original silver screen film.
So again, it's called silver screen because of why?
The silver nitrate that was used in nitrate film up until about the 1950s. And so it really did have this glistening, glowing effect to it. So you may think that you've seen Casablanca, maybe even seen it on a big screen, but until you see it in nitrate, you've just not seen it as it was meant to be seen.
Eliza, thank you so much. You've been a wealth of knowledge.
Thank you. Thanks for being here.
We're just happy that we can pass it on to our viewers. Thank you so much. I'm going to tip my hat to you.
Thank you.
Oh, and check the time. Time to go.